To honour its 40th anniversary, let's look at one of the ultimate champions of the teen movie, John Hughes' The Breakfast Club. As with most Hughes projects, the heart and soul comes from the characters, and this is an iconic bratty pack we've got here, with 5 characters representing different high school stereotypes, each played to perfection by the actors who underline the familiar qualities of this stereotype, while each bringing their own vulnerabilities to the table. There's Molly Ringwald as Claire, the typical, pretty popular girl who's very insecure about herself, trying to uphold this flawless image. Emilio Estevez as Andrew, the jock who's expected to always be a winner, always be strong and never look weak. Anthony Michael Hall as Brian, the nerd who's overwhelmed by his overbearing parents to succeed at everything to the highest standard, which drives him down a dark road. Ali Sheedy as Alison, the weird oddball left to her own devices, suffering from a lack of much needed attention. And Judd Nelson as John Bender, the bad boy, fuming with hatred and lashing out due to his rough upbringing, with seemingly and worryingly no sight of hope for his future. All the actors delivered those characteristics so brilliantly, you immediately lock onto their performances, and thus you lock onto their characters and really give a crap about all of them. You sure as hell don't always agree with their behaviour, but you do care the whole way through. Their clashing personalities make for some engaging exchanges, and yet, for as little as they have in common, they all come together in a relatable union, especially in the second half, where they hold nothing back in their honesty, unleashing their anxieties while also calling out the others in their BS when it comes to that. But by the end, this unlikely yet wonderful bond feels real and was rightfully earned. Now, granted, as some have pointed out, the writing can sound like it's coming from an adult's hindsight, as opposed to kids actually currently in high school, but still, the actors do such a convincing, emotionally raw job, so I can personally forgive it. Oh, and you can't forget about the memorably stuck-up demanding no-joke Vice Principal Vernon, played by Paul Clayton, and the janitor Carl, who's quite funny. And I also appreciate how even they get their own heart-to-heart to show their human side beyond the kids. Tonally, it's very well balanced. It's the right laid out mix of optimistic positivity, shredding sadness, and delicious comedy. And it goes without saying, the soundtrack is banging. You know, everyone always goes on about Simple Minds, Don't You Forget About Me, and Carla DeVito's We Are Not Alone. Rightfully so, to be fair, being proper tunes. But not enough love is shown to Fire in the Twilight by Wang Chung. It's one of the most unstoppable 80s bangers there ever was. Now, is the film totally perfect? Oh god no, there's loads of nits to pick, like Claire being borderline sexually assaulted, with also a clear shot of her undies. I don't think that's flying today. One thing that always drives me nuts is how Andrew is smoking weed, yet he acts like he's on a coke binge. And the ending kind of bugs me too, with the combo of Claire and Bender suddenly hooking up, as do Andrew and Alison for that matter, which is even more out of nowhere, following what many, including I, declare the most needless downgrade of a person ever. You know what I'm talking about. But beside those issues, among other things, The Breakfast Club is perhaps John Hughes' magnum opus, and my favourite of his, although in recent years, Ferris Bueller's closely contested it. I will say this though, unlike Bueller, which is big and adventurous, this film achieves so much with very little. So, if there's any reason to award it the distinction of the best, then there you have it. Want some extra convincing? Then please welcome back my special guest, Gemma Trainor.
The Breakfast Club, an absolute John Hughes classic. It definitely defined my teenhood, I would definitely say. What makes it so great is like, especially watching it when you're a teenager, it's like obviously that's the main characters, they're all in high school, but they're all part of different cliques and different parts of high school. Even though that sort of thing isn't as obvious in UK schools, there's definitely a lot of cliques going on. Like you have the popular kids, you have the geeky kids, and like the sporty kids or whatever, but you could definitely tell that these type of people never hang out, will never speak to each other in the halls, will be disgusted if they're paired together on a science project or something. It just starts off with them barely speaking, or they kind of know each other just from either them being bullies to each other or them just kind of being in similar circles. And then being stuck in the same room together for hours, you have nothing left to do but speak to each other. And then they realise, oh, we're actually all not that different. We all have our own struggles in life. And that scene where they're all just sitting there and they're talking about their actual struggles that they're going through, and the fact that scene is all improvised by the actors really hits hard at home, because you do realise that no matter what, everyone around you has their own struggles in life. And yeah, it really hits home to me especially, because I remember, especially when I was a teenager, I felt like I had no one to talk to. When I did start making friends and I finally was able to talk about my own struggles, it does feel good, and you could definitely feel that in everyone in that circle. It's just so powerful. Although, if I have to give it one critique, just one critique, they had to make over that girl in the end. Like, make her not wear black and everything. I get it was off the times, and honestly, I love a good movie makeover, but I think that's the only thing I would give critique on. But everything else, I still think it ages well. The soundtrack is great. Every time you hear Don't You Forget About Me, you just think of John Bender walking across the football field with his hand up in the air. And every time you hear Fire in the Twilight, you just think of them all running from the principal at the, down the hallway and everything. Plus, I've dressed up as John Bender quite a few times in different Comic-Cons, at parties. I was even invited to an 80s themed party and I dressed up as John Bender, so this film definitely has a good place in my heart. I would definitely recommend it.
Thanks as always, Gemma. And here's to 40 years of The Breakfast Club, where, to quote Jane Silent Bob, all those stupid kids actually showed up for detention. I'm Jason, and this is Small Movie World, watching, talking, and loving films.